Okay. Dr. Haley Gemara. So we are at the bottom of Samach Tal on the base, and we are up to So'irin. Omer B'Yoshi Le Pasuk So'irin. So in the Mishnah, it said, Shimon said that So'irin, if you give So'irin, you have to give double the amount. And then Rabbi Yossi said that this is only Nageya to Rabbi Shimon because of Edom. Rabbi Shmuel because of Edom. So Frank the Gemara, here I'll read the Lashon HaMishnah because it's right on this daf anyway. It says, Amr Rabbi Yossi the pasuk will start now Rabbi Shmuel show you samach le'edom. So Frank the Gemara El be'edom hu the achlin sa'irin. Are you telling me that nobody else eats sa'irin? Sa'irin is relevant everywhere. So the Gemara, no. Normally, sa'irin, you don't have to give double sa'irin compared to what you'd give in chitin. Maybe give a little more, but double, you only have to give double in edom. And the sa'irim of edom were of very poor quality. And in order to yield the same amount of bread, you need double the amount of sa'irim. But that's not the case with sa'irim of other places. Okay. Zakti Gemara. V'noisein law katzi kav kitnis. So the Mishnah listed off a whole bunch of different provisions that he has to give his wife. There's one glaring omission in this list. Vilu yayin loikatani. It doesn't say anything about that he has to give her wine. This is a raya to Rabbi Lozer. The Rabbi Lozer says, "Ein poiskin yeinois liisha." You never give wine to a woman. Rashi says, "Why shayayin magila l'tayvus tashmish?" Wine leads to not theistic things, and therefore we do not give them wine. And if you're going to tell me, it says, "Elcha acharei ma'ahavai." I'm going to go after the person who loves me. Who knows nelachmi? He gives me my bread, umeimai, my water, tzimri, my wool, pishti, my linen, sham, my oil, vishikuya, and my drinks, my beverages. Of course, referring to wine. So no, that doesn't mean wine. It means devorim sha'isha mishtaikekas alayim. It's something that a wife likes even more than wine. Umayinu tachshidin, jewelry. It means jewelry. That's what it means when it says vishikuya. So therefore, you don't have a raya from here that a husband has to give his wife wine. Dorish Rabbi Yehuda Ishkvar Neviraya. Varmila Ishkvar Nefarchaya. Minayin, how do we know? She'ein poiskin yeinois leisha. How do you know that we do not give women wine as part of their allotment, their weekly provisions? Shenemar, it says when Chana was going to daven in the Beis Hamikdash, says V'tokam Chana got up, Acharei achla b'shiloi, after she ate in Shiloi, the Acharei shasa, and after he drank. Zok to Gemara adik shasa v'lo shasas. When he drank, not when she drank. So maybe her husband drank, but she didn't drink. So you have a raya from here. So you have a raya from here that you don't give wine to a woman. For the Gemara, if you're being medayik from the gender mashmois of the word, and you're learning that shasa is a male word, and therefore it indicates that she didn't get wine. Achla is a female gender. So you're going to say that he didn't eat anything, he only drank? Of course he ate. Hachanami, you're going to say that? So no, ardik is not from the gender of the verb, because you see it goes either way. Ardik is from the fact that the pasuk starts off with achla, which is a female verb, and then it changes to shasa, and it's the change that we're being medayik. Anan mideshani krabi dibure kaminan michti bigavaka. So we're talking about her. We're talking about her. Ka'asad va'asi. My time is shani. Why did the Torah use a different word shasa when it got up to the wine? Shemamino shasa v'lo shasas.
Why did it even say shasa? Not her. She didn't drink. But then we're just talking about her. She should have said nothing.
Maybe because the Novi wants to be Megalatas, that you don't give wine. Meser Freik the Gemara. Regila, if she is used to drinking normally with her husband, then you do give her wine. So you have a kash on her belozor, and for the Gemara, no, Regila shiny. If when he's with her, they drink and she's used to it, so then she could probably hold her wine better, and then you give her. No. The Gemara is going to elaborate on that a little bit more. So Amar Reb Chida bar Kahana Amar Shmuel, Regila, if she's used to drinking, then you'll give her one kosh. She'eina Regila, if she's not used to drinking, that's completely counterintuitive. My Amar, what is exactly this Brash is saying? Amar by Hachik Amar, Regila bifnei baila shnei kosos. If in front of her husband normally together they'll drink 2 cups of wine together, then shaloi bifnei baila noishim la koisechot. So then, even if her husband's not there, they'll give her 1 kois. But eina regila bifnei baila ela koisechot. If even when her husband's there, they don't have more than 1 kois, then shaloi bifnei baila ein noishim la kol ikir. You don't give her any wine at all. Regila, if she's used to getting wine, you give her wine, but not to drink. She gets wine so she can use in her cooking to make the lahatam tavshil, to add taste to her food, and sometimes wine is an ingredient of food. Nakdim ben Gurion was one of the titans of Yerushalayim, one of the wealthy people of Yerushalayim, and between him, Kalba Savua, there was a third Gvir, they were able to support all of Yerushalayim. So we're talking about a girl who's married to a very, very wealthy boy. And what happened when she was separated from her husband? They used to give her 2 soft wine. We learned in the Mishnah, this is the minimum. But right? If he's a wealthier guy, of course he has to give more. So the Chacham said that he needs to give Sasai Yayin Merev Shabbos. Merev Shabbos. Once a week she gets Sasai Yayin. So you think, wow, she would be very happy with that. Amar Lehen, she tells the Rabbanan who gave her what she felt was, they thought they were being very generous with her. And she was very upset, thinking that they were very cheap with her. She says, that's what your daughter should get. So they're thinking, wow, we wish our daughter would get that much. But she was upset. There are those who learned that she was happy. She was giving them a bracha. Thank you so much for being generous. Your daughter should be generous as well. But the case over there was, why were they being placed for a certain amount of mezainos? Is because Tala Shemer Yavam Haisa. In fact, she was an almana. She lost her husband, and she was just waiting for her yavam to make yibum. So therefore, they didn't answer Amen, because even though they liked that their daughter should be very well taken care of, but they didn't want their daughter Chas V'Shalom to ever be in a situation where there would be a Shemer Shalom. Tana we learned, Kois Echad Yofa L'Isha. It's good for a woman to drink 1 kois of wine. I guess it calms her down. Shnayim Nivahu. 2 already is going to make her inappropriate. Shloisha Tovas B'Peh. 3 she'll even demand relations from her husband. So Duvi, that's why even if he's married and it was with her husband, it's inappropriate for her to drink too much, because Tovas B'Peh is a very inappropriate thing, and that all children who are born from such things, it's brought down that they're not good children. So it's very inappropriate for a woman to be Tovas B'Peh. She can hint. She can act in such a way that she shows what she wants, but she's not allowed to come out right and say it. Arba, if you give her 4 koshes of wine, she'll be so inappropriate. Afilu chamor tovas b'shuk ve'ina makpedes. She'll even go after. She'll even to use the prostate language. She'll even hit on a chamor. So that's how inappropriate it is for a woman to drink wine. Amarava lo shanu ela she'ein ba'ila ima. All these halachas, if it's ein ba'ila ima. And loishana means you don't give her 1 kois. Aval ba'ila ima less lamba. Avadi, you don't give 3 or 4, because clearly it's inappropriate to have 3, even if it's ba'ila ima. Fred, I'm sorry.
Shlosh is obviously when the ba'ila ima,
Right.
right?
So right, but so that Rava doesn't mean you give her shloisha if ba'ila ima, because that'll also be inappropriate. So he only means one or two. In fact, tomorrow, Chana, the Baila Imahu. Chana was Baila Ima. So, and it says she didn't drink anything. If it's Baila Ima, why couldn't she drink anything? So tomorrow, because Achsanoi Shiny, she wasn't in her own home. She was a guest by somewhere in Yerushalayim. They don't live there. So therefore, it was inappropriate for her to drink anything at all, because you're not even supposed to have relations with your wife as an Achsanoi. The Amr Abhuna, Minayin Achsanoi Sha'asa B'Tashu Shamita, Shenemar, V'yashkimu B'Boiker, V'yishtachel V'nei Hashem, V'yeshuvu, V'yavoyu Al Beisam, Haramasa, and only then, V'yeda Elkana Eschana Ishtoi, V'yitzkareh Hashem. So you see that one shouldn't have relations when they're a guest. They have when they got home. Zok Gemara, Hashto in Mei Karalai. When they got home and they were in their own place, that's where they had relations, but before and not. Chayma, this is an awesome, fascinating story. This is an awesome, fascinating story. This teaches us how the Amoyroyim, who are capable of Tchisa Mason, how they were with their wives, and they made sure to have a very friendly relation with their wives. They were very romantic. The Amoyroyim. Chayma devisu Abaye. Chayma was the wife of Abaye. And just to give you a little bit of background, we learned that there was a machloikis if a katlonis is after she marries two husbands and they die on her, or if only after she marries three husbands. And the Gemara tells us that Abaye paskind like the Bandama who says three, and therefore he married a woman who had already had two husbands die. And you know what happened? He died too. So the Gemara says that he was soymach on that, he ended up dying as well. So she was an almana now, and she wanted Rava to establish how much she can get from the estate of Abaye. So Asoyla made a Rava. She came to Rava to get her allotment. Omrale, so she told him, Psoikli Mizoni, Pasakla, give me Mizonis. So he said, yes, you're entitled to Mizonis. Psoikli Chamer, I also want an allotment of wine. Omrale, Rava said, Yodana baby Nachmeni. I know your husband, Abaye, was referred to as Nachmeni, and he was very, very poor. He never drank wine, so why would I give you wine? There's no way he used to give that to you. Omrele, he told her, Chaye Demar, I'm going to swear on the life of Mar. Not only did he drink, he would drink Vishuvrizi in a goblet, Kihai, as big as my arm, as tall, as long as my arm. You know what a long goblet that is? It's like a goblet that's like 24 inches almost. She used her amma, but she showed it with her own arm. She lifted up her arm and she showed it with her own arm. And listen to this. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So what did she do? When she was showing Rava, using her own arm, how big this goblet was, Igli Daira, her arm was uncovered. Nafal Nahira Bevedina. She had such beautiful, clear skin that her arm lit up the bezdin. And Rava, seeing the woman's arm, triggered him. So Rava was triggered now, and he needed to deal with it because he's Adam Gadol. So come Rava jumps up from his space, all lebese, and he went right home and Tava Lebasar Pchista. He told his wife, we have to do business now. Amrlei Basar Pchista. Basar Pchista asked, Rava, what got into you? You never come home for lunch. My Hava of the Vedina. You have to tell me what went on today in Bezdin that got you so triggered. Right. Has he come for lunch? Amar Allah, he told her, you know what happened? Chayma, the Visu Abaye. Chayma, the wife of Abaye, came to Bezdin today. She says, oh, that woman, I'm going to teach her a lesson. Nafka Basra. So now Rav Chisda's daughter tells Abaye, you're going to have to wait. I don't care. I got business to take care of. She grabs a weapon. What did she do? Machtala, she hit the almana of Abaye, the kofi, the shida, with the key of a box. I guess it was a hard thing. She chased her out of town. Amulan, she told her, Kotlach leich polsa. You already killed three husbands. And now you want to kill another one by seducing my husband and then marrying him and then kill him too. So that's how she got so upset. It's fascinating, this story. Zok Gemara. The Visu Rabbi Yosef Barei de Rava also the Kabed Rabbi Nechemia Barei Rabbi Yosef.
She killed physically. He was spiritually.
No, that's not what Rashi says. Rashi says that Katla Klos Shekvarnisis Lemikla Chinish Shabbos Laharish Yofich Sheyiv Kvot Ishalecha. Someone should marry you, and if someone marries you, he's going to end, and you're a Katlonis, he's going to end up dying. So what happened was the visit of Rabbi Yosef Berei the Rabba also coming to Rabbi Nachman Berei the Yosef. What?
Wasn't the case.
I understand.
This wouldn't happen in the United States because they have the right to bear arms in the U.S.
Exactly. Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy that you said that. I thought what you meant is that the Rava should quickly run home the Kedusha V'Tayra because he wants to be with his wife. That wouldn't happen in the United States. Like we all know the story. I'm not angry at you. You could stay. I'm angry at the president. You know that story. Okay, we'll say it later. So Gemara, the visit to Rabbi Yosef, Borei the Rava, also like Rabbi Nachman Borei Rabbi Yosef. Amrullah, she told him, set up for me a Mazoyne schedule. Pasakla, Psychli Chamra, Pasakla. Amrullah, he told her, Yadana Behu B'vnei Mechuzah. I know that in Mechuzah the Shasu Chamra. So that's the normal. That's why I'm allotting you to an allotment of wine. The visit to Rabbi Yosef Borei Rabbi Menashe B'Dvil. Also like Rabbi Yosef, Amrullah Psychli Mazoyne, Pasakla, Psychli Chamra, Pasakla. And then she said, I also want to give me an allotment of fancy silk clothing. Why do you need fancy clothing? You're not even married anymore. You know why? If I walk around, I used to walk around in beautiful clothing. If I walk around now with tattered clothing, I'm going to be an outcast. Everyone's going to talk about me, that I'm an outcast. So I want at least to live on the same standard as what's normal so that I could not stick out. Rashi actually elaborates on this, and Rashi says, I don't want to have to become this baza from what I was used to when my husband was alive. He gives her a bed, and he gives her either a mapet or machzelas, which one's a softer mat, one's a harder mat. Why does she need it? Normally, the way they built the bed is they would have a bed frame and they stretched over it a piece of leather. So that's why can't you sleep on the leather? Why does she need the machzelas on top of that? Why do you have to give it to her? It's speaking not in a place where they use a leather mat. They stretch leather over the bed frame, and then she could not technically sleep there. But they used to put ropes back and forth. So you can't sleep on the ropes. That would be very, very uncomfortable. And she won't be able to sleep, and it's going to cause her to age. So that's why she gets the mats, so that she doesn't have to sleep on the ropes. She doesn't get a pillow and a mattress. That she doesn't get. She has to sleep on that mat or on the leather spread. She does get a pillow and a mattress. If it's the normal way for people to sleep that way, my time to the comment that keep that don't give it to her. Be the lav orcha, my time of nothing. So the husbands, it's normal that men get a pillow and a mattress. But women don't, probably because men snore. So if they have a pillow, they won't snore as much. Tanakama says, he can tell her, Ki azilna shakilna lahu. It's really for me. So when I'm not with you, I travel, then I'll take it with me. And when I come, my sina lahu badoy, I'll bring it with me. So therefore, you don't need to have one because you normally don't sleep with it anyway. It's only for me. And therefore, whenever I come, I'll bring it with me. So how come Rav Nosson is machayiv that she should have her own mattress and her own pillow? Rav Nosson sober, Amrullah, she can tell him, Zimnin de Misrami ben Hashmoshes, if you get home from work late and you're not allowed to carry anymore, you're not going to be able to bring your bedding with you. And what are you going to do? You're going to say, hey, I need a good bed. And I'm not going to have one. So what are you going to do? You're going to take my machzelas that I have, and you're going to make me sleep on the ground. So therefore, just in case you're not going to have your pillow and cover, we need to have one here all the time. But it's not for her to use. It's that it should be here when he needs it. Zok the Gemara. And as a matter of fact, the Rishonim speak out to even the Rabban, it's a big deal. So give her an extra one. What's the big deal? The Torah says because he doesn't want her to use it during the week because she'll wear it out. It's only supposed to be there when he comes. Zok the Gemara Vayter. He has to give her a tichel. Amalei Rapapa Labai. Rapapa told Labai, hi, Tana, Shliach Artiloi for Rami Masani. I don't understand. Shoes she has to get every Yom Tov. Clothing once a year, so he walks around like naked, but he's wearing shoes. It's weird if a guy has nice new shoes, but he's not wearing anything else. It's good for a shoe commercial, but it's not a normal way to live. Amalei, the reason why we're giving her shoes more frequently every Yom Tov is Tana b'makom haramkon. He lived in a place where the terrain was rough and shoes didn't last very long and they got torn up. So therefore, you need to buy your wife there 3 times a year shoes. Once you're buying them 3 times a year, so then you might as well buy them for Yom Tov. So it's not really, it's not that you have to buy your new shoes for Yom Tov, because then the cash is you're buying your new shoes for Yom Tov, but you're not buying your new clothing for Yom Tov. It's more important to buy the clothing. I'm sorry? I'm not about glasses, I'm talking about shoes. If you're going to give her 3 times a year, it's nice to give it to her for Yom Tov. It gives her an extra simcha before Yom Tov that she got new shoes. Clothing worth 50 zuz. What type of zuz? There's zuzi tsuri, which are worth 8 times the amount of the zuzi pshiti. So when we say even the poorest person has to give chamishim zuzi, has to give 50 zuz worth of clothing, it means the lesser valued. It means Canadian dollars, not US dollars. Mimai, how do you know? If it's speaking about US dollars or zuzi tsure, there's no way an ani can have that much. Zuzi pshiti, yes, that an ani can get a hold of. But zuzi tsure, an ani would never be able to get a hold of. You don't give her new clothing at the beginning of the summer because it's going to overheat her. What happens if she has extra food? She doesn't eat as much as she's allotted. Labal, the husband gets that back. But if her clothing are extra, she still has older clothing, even though she's already acquired her new clothing. Leisha, she gets to keep it. What is she going to do with it? She can wear it when she's a nida. And Rashi says that if a woman would wear the same clothing when she's with her husband as she wore when she's a nida, that will make the husband miyas with her, and therefore he wants to know that she was never, when she's with him, she's wearing clothing that she never wore when she was a nida. So that's why it's good for her to have an extra pair of clothing.
Means worn out clothing.
Right. They're worn out, but I guess they could still be worn.
Yeah, okay.
Not fresh clothing.
We know that from the Bnei Israel traveling, that their clothing didn't wear out.
But it's more didn't wear. Even if they gained weight, it grew with them.
Right. Well, how you gonna gain weight on none?
Well, because when you eat mun, you think of Brussels sprouts. When I eat mun, I think of ice cream cake. Nakdina, we learned moister blois almana liyarshav. If she dies, her yarshim get those. Zok to Gemara Hasam, who. So the question is, for an almana, why is it relevant? An almana is not going to be with her husband, so why does she get the blois then? Zok to Gemara Hasam, who bloitiskana bapei. Normally, she gets blois when her husband's alive because we don't want her to be mius. But now that she's an almana, she doesn't have a husband. We're not concerned if she becomes nizgana because she's not with a man anyway. She gets her discretionary spending of a mo. Zok to Gemara ma oichelas. It's going on what the mission says later that Friday night she eats with him, and we learned it's a machlokes. What does it mean eating with him? And now the Gemara is going to discuss that actual machlokes. My chelas, Rav Nachman Amar chelas mamish. She eats dinner with him. Rav Ashi Amar tashmish. It doesn't mean that she eats with him. It means that that she has tashmish with him Friday nights. Tanan we learned oichelas imoy leilei Shabbos. The Mishnah uses the word of oichelas because it means oichelas. Why did the Mishnah say oichelas if it meant tashmish? So it's the tashmish. So Gemara lishna ma'alya. When the Mishnah says oichelas means tashmish, it didn't come out right and say tashmish because it's a nicer way of describing it. It's a more discreet way of describing it. Like it says in the pasuk regarding a woman who was mizana, she ate and she wipes her mouth off, and she said didn't do anything wrong. So you see, tashmish is referred to even in the ksuvim as achila. Meisvei. Rab Shimon ben Gamliel omer oichelas beleilei Shabbos v'Shabbos. That means on Shabbos day as well. That's why Rab Shimon ben Gamliel says that on Shabbos she also eats with them. So she has two sudas with them. Are you allowed to have tashmish Shabbos by day? The Amar of Huna Yisrael Kedosh Name Bein Meshamshin Mitoseim Bayon. So you see that the Indian of kedusha, a person's not supposed to have relations by day, and one of the reasons is because you're not supposed to see your spouse completely undressed. It could cause someone to be niskana, but that all goes into kedusha. It's a mile of kedusha not to. So here, how's it possible? So the Rishonim ask, okay, it's mutter beveis afal if you darken the room, but that the Shimon ben Gamliel should mandate it. How you talking? So there are those who learn that we're speaking about somebody whose zman oina was really twice a week, but he's not around. He wasn't around the whole week. So if someone is not around and he's only around on Shabbos, so then he's actually mechuyev to make up for the second oina, and then it has to be done by day, but you have to be maful device. I'm sorry? No comment. And who says maybe each session is only counts as one? And if she was a manika, so the Mishnah says that if she was a manika, then not only does she not have to produce as much, she also gets extra mezonos. Darish Rab Avla or Ula Rabba a pischa de Venesia. Rab Ula Rabba was Darish at the front of the Venesia. Even though we said that midaraisa, there's no chiyuv, there are takanas that were made, but once a child is even a young child, he doesn't have to be mefarnish his children anymore. But avolzan ketane, but really small children, you're mechuyev to support. Ad kama, so what's really small children? Ad ben sheish, until 6, and I believe 6 included. When the child is 6 years old, you still have to support them, but afterwards you don't have to. Could Rabasi, like Rabasi taught us, Rabasi, Katan ben Sheish, Yoitza be'erev imam. Now, when you make an Erev Tchumen, let's say you make an Erev Tchumen in one place, and your wife makes an Erev Tchumen in the other place. Your little children, where's their makkah? Which parent do we say they're tethered to? So what did Rabasi say? A child who's 6 years or younger is tethered to the mother, meaning the mother is responsible for this child. Mimai, how do you know? How did Rabasi know this? It says in our Mishnah that if she was a manika, she doesn't have to produce as much, and the focus here is umoy sifin law al mizaynais, and you give extra mizaynais. Why? My time, lav mishum de boy lemechel bado. It's because it's a child who's 6 years old or younger still needs their mother and still eats with their mother. So what are you going to do? You're going to give her food for herself and not for a child? Guess what's going to happen? She's going to go hungry. So therefore, as part of a chiyuv, so the Gemara is learning here is there's no direct chiyuv to be mafarnish the children less than 6. But as part of his chiyuv to his wife, he has to give the children, because if he doesn't give the children, the wife won't have. Frag the Gemara, how do you know that it's out the kids? That when she's a meinekes, you give extra. Maybe you're giving her extra mezaiz for her herself, and it has nothing to do with the kids. So the Gemara imkain listnim hoysa chayla, mayim hoysa menika. So it's a right that it's out that there's a child.
There's another kid.
No,
Besides the kid that she's nursing. Where's the food going? The kid that she's nursing?
I guess to the kid that she's nursing. But you're bringing out a good kasha. So you only see that when she's manika, she has to give her child. How do you see up to 6 years? Right? So
So I thought there was a separate.
right, all right, I understand. So I think the Rajva speaks out. The article brings it down. The Rajva speaks out that it must be referring to an older child. The only reason why it says manika is because by manika there's also the halacha of peichsun mimais yadel. So since there's two halachas that the Mishnah there's two cases that the Mishnah is referring to. There's two halachas that the Mishnah is referring to. A is peichsun mimais yadel, and B is ma'isiv al mazon yisel. So at this point, the Gemara is learning that peichsun mimais yadel is only for a manika, and that's why the case of the Mishnah is manika. But a ma'isiv al mazon yisel must be because of the kids, and that would be up until the age of 6. Maybe it's only because she's a chayla, and it's for her, but a normal manika has a din of a chayla. So Gemara Itmar Amr B'Shuv ben Levi. So the Gemara actually steps back and is talking to Raya, because maybe we're not giving the mezonos to her because of her children, and maybe we're only giving it to her because we consider her a chayla. And a stamanik is a chayla, and mechatei said that you have to support until 6. So the Gemara actually slugs up the raya from our Mishnah. Itmar b'shuv ben Levi, v'sifin lo yayin shayayin yafal achalaf. You give her extra wine because wine is good, helps a woman produce more milk. Okay, we'll stop here. Hashem, hadinalach afapi, b'lineder hadinalach afapi, hadinalach afapi. We should be zeicher to finish parak after parak till we finish the Masechta.
What time tomorrow?
Koyach. David, from your voice, you sound a lot better.
You know what? I had a surgery yesterday. They call it a surgery. It's more like a procedure, but they put me to sleep, and I don't have as much pain, but I still need to be near a bathroom. I still have a stent in me, so I get little warning before I've got to go. So like seconds, literally 2 or 3 seconds.
Wow.
And I'm still bleeding. So I'm not ready to come back yet.
We're still davening for you, and you
Thank
should have
you.
her full flavor.
Brother Ben?
David Chaim Ben Hesse.
So unfortunately, we're going to continue davening for you. But I definitely hear a little bit of relief in your voice, Baruch Hashem.
Okay.
Feel better.